What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to T&L Sports. I'm Louai. He's Tyler, and welcome
What
to
it
a brand
do?
new episode. Tyler, how's your week going, man? It's been a while since we've done this.
It's been pretty good. Football was amazing
Mm-hmm.
this weekend,
We
and
got a lot
especially Monday it was pretty good.
of action-packed episode. But first, I gotta tell you why we haven't done this podcast for what has it been, like 4 weeks
It
or
was a
something?
Aloy.
Yep, it was on me. It was on me. The podcast setup, aka my bedroom in my mom's basement, was getting renovated, and I just now got my setup about a week ago, and now we finally get a chance to do it with the scheduling and stuff that we had to figure out. But hopefully we can keep being consistent because consistent, buddy. Okay, hopefully we can keep being consistent because that's the only way we're gonna grow on here. Is we're gonna gotta keep pumping out that content. But
Yeah,
finally,
Aloy's room was getting deconstructed to find the crickets in there.
oh, we
That
got
was a
a whole
ongoing problem.
we got a whole cricket situation here though on our hands. Anyway, but it's the cold now. There's like 35-degree weather out there, so I doubt there's any crickets that are gonna come through. If they are,
Well, I mean that makes them even more. That makes them want to come through even more.
I think they like the outside though. I think they have their little own house.
Well,
Anyway,
according to my sources, they like your room more. But that's besides the point.
that is besides the point. Now we have an action-packed. What's today? Thursday, Tuesday. We have an action-packed Tuesday for you. And speaking of action, let's talk about that Jackson kid.
Action Jackson,
Let's talk about this guy. 22 years old,
unstoppable.
running the football like a running back, throwing the football like a quarterback. This man's the complete package.
Of course he does. Well, with a quarterback, he is a quarterback.
This man's the complete package. And let me tell you something. Obviously, I'm a Patriots fan, and he made
He put the beating.
He made that Patriots defense look like one-ply tissue paper. Man,
Yep.
he was just running up and down the field, throwing the ball, dotting him up. He's tied for first with the passing touchdowns, tied for first with the best quarterback completion percentage, and I think he's third or fourth in total QBR in the league. Now, he's definitely over the time that he's been doing this. What is his team's 8-2, right?
They're 9-2 now.
Oof, 9-2. He's made me a believer. I wasn't so sure about how long this was gonna go. I didn't think he could throw the football, but you know what? He goes to every single spot and he hangs 45 on them.
Mm-hmm. No matter where. Now, a lot of interesting stack about Lamar Jackson, right? We all know about his supreme athleticism, best athlete on the field, no matter where he goes. He
That
could
guy's
go
a
to
freak.
play on cricket. He could walk on the play cricket, best athlete there. Play tennis, best player there. I mean, this man is just supremely talented. Not only that, with that athleticism, he's also, according to Pro Football Focus, the second best pocket passer in the league right now. Only behind Drew Brees. Can you believe that?
See, I told you, as I said before, I was not a believer of this guy. I kept on saying, like, listen, I'd rather, you know
You
what?
were hating on
As
him
a
a little
matter of
bit.
fact,
You're like, he's just running back.
because if you really watch the first couple snaps of the game, it gets really
The
boring.
first couple of snaps.
It gets really boring because it's like, okay, all right, here you go, Mark Ingram, boom, and here you go. What's the other running back? Number 35. Here you go. Oh wait,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm gonna run it up the middle for a gain. Oh, this happened against the Patriots game. I swear to God, 5 straight run plays in a row. It'd be running back. It'd be
And then,
it would be running
before
back
you
one,
know it,
running back run, Lamar Jackson run, and then he's gonna do a jet sweep to a wide receiver run. This happened against the Patriots. I was like, oh my God,
I was watching this Ravens and Rams game last night, and Lamar Jackson just took off after dropping the football. Unbelievable, by the way. I'm watching it, and he's running. I looked at the screen. I didn't expect him to be so close to the goal line. Before I even knew it, he was down to the 20, down to the 10, down to the 5. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, let's not talk
It
about
was,
the fact that he tripped on that play.
yeah, on the grass.
Could have been another great run. It was a great run, but
And
if he
that,
capped it off with a touchdown. Oof.
and
man's
this
a freak of
defense of
nature.
the Ravens is also getting overlooked. I mean, they're playing phenomenal defense, holding the Texans to 0, holding the Rams to like 6 almost.
Actually,
I
the
mean, this
Texans scored
defense,
7 on them, but That's besides
I
the
mean,
point. I
pretty. I
understand
know
what you're talking about.
it's pretty close.
It's still the Texans. The
Close.
Texans are a really good
I
football
mean,
team,
the
and they're putting
Ravens
up.
are just that defense, that offense is clicking. The O line is phenomenal. I mean, they're unstoppable.
Now, let me tell you a little story about myself. I'm getting I'm getting flashbacks. I'm getting
Hmm.
PTSD from what happened when the season Ray Lewis retired to the Patriots. A very similar situation. Defense, elite. Quarterback,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it. Elite.
not elite.
Hey, he was elite at the time. At
Joe
the time,
Flacco?
Joe Flacco was elite at one point. He was
Come on
always
now.
on. He was always on the.
I mean, that's a little generous.
He was always teetering on the edge of elite or average, and he was elite whenever he played the Patriots, and then he
I don't
when he
know.
played the Bengals or something, he would be average Joe
I
Flacco,
mean, some of the biggest games he made a couple big throws to Torrey Smith down the sideline, that
Well, I
deep
mean that's
threat that
what
they
got him.
had.
That's what got him the paydays.
Anquan Bolden.
That one throw against the Denver Broncos is what got him that payday. Um, but yeah, I mean, this
That
is
Ravens offense also had a lot of threats. They had Anquan Bolden. Torrey Smith was in his prime.
oh yeah,
He was pretty good.
the if the Patriots slip up, and I hope they don't, they gotta stay perfect from now on because
Oh,
the
that Ravens
Ravens
team's coming.
the Ravens beat
Let me
the
tell you,
Patriots, so they have the
that
tiebreaker over them. Just in case they tie the Ravens have the tiebreaker over them. So if if the Patriots lose a game and they slip up, the road to the Super Bowl is gonna run through the Ravens. But
that don't.
let me take a step back. Everybody's on the Ravens right now. I'm not so sure the Chiefs are out of it completely. They've dealt with some injuries.
Mm,
They had the Tyreek Hill injury multiple times. They rushed. I felt like they rushed Patrick Mahomes back a little bit, but they had to. Uh, and I'm not so. Their defense. If they can get back to their offense, how it was, I don't think they need to play defense. If Patrick Mahomes is going out there lighting up the field, there's
you're
no
right. They
point to
don't need
play.
to go on the field.
There's no point the defense should even touch the defense should even care about how good they're playing. But just remember, last season it was one offside penalty by D Ford that kept them out of the Super Bowl. Because if you remember, Tom Brady drops
Hmm.
back,
Yeah,
targeted
threw a
targeted
pick.
Rob Gronkowski, intercepted. The game
Picked
ends.
off.
The game ends. There's a flag on the field, and guess what it was? Biggest break of
D
our
Ford,
biggest
who
break
is
of our
now
life.
D Ford, who is now actually injured, so he can't ruin his team's chances for a Super
What is
Bowl
he on
this
the
year.
49ers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
another
lucky
team.
for the 49ers,
Another
he
team that we
can't
have to
ruin their
talk about.
season.
The 49ers. It
Wait,
just
hold up.
seems.
Let me go back for the Chiefs for a second. Let me talk
Yeah.
about the Chiefs.
Go for it.
Now, I think if there's any offense that can keep up with this Ravens offense, it's got to be the Chiefs. With Patrick Mahomes at that helm of the quarterback, he's the one guy I think that could keep up with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
offense. It's
And
about the Chiefs defense though.
you know what the best thing is right now? That we're gonna have at least another 10, 15 years of these two players, of these two electric quarterbacks, going at it.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky, injuries. Hopefully, no injuries happen. The way not Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson plays is he can really get injured, but obviously it looks like he knows how to take the hits. He knows how to avoid the big ones, and he knows when to get out of bounds and when to slide. The man's a beast, and
Yep.
the real winner here is football fans because they're gonna
Yeah.
have the old age of quarterbacks. The Tom Brady. What's
Now
his
we
name?
got this new era. The NFL is under good hands with all these young players.
Oh yeah,
We got Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Michael Thomas. I mean, the NFL is in good hands
right. Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
future with all this good talent, good young talent.
100%. But there's another team lurking in the distance. People slept on them coming in. I'm talking about the 49ers. The 49ers have absolutely surprised me. When you have a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who grew up under the wings of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, he's just destined for greatness. I was so appalled when I found out that Bill Belichick traded Jimmy G to the 49ers for a second round pick that was pretty much worthless. Um, Now, let me not talk. Let me not just give all the offense all the credit, because let me tell you something. The defense is there's a common thing here with the Patriots' grown quarterback. The defense carries them a little bit, and that's what's going on. Joey Bosa, unstoppable. The secondary, unstoppable. You talk about relentless defense. They're right there. They're number 2 of all defenses in the league. Obviously the Patriots.
Number one in yards allowed.
Obviously the Patriots are number 1 overall, but
The 49ers might be, actually.
I think the Patriots are, because they have like the most. I think they have like 30 turnovers, forced turnovers, least amount of touchdowns. I think there's only been 14 touchdowns or some odd number like that that's been scored on that they.
I would give. Forget about the stats. I would give. I know the 49ers and the Patriots, both those defense. I mean, the 49ers have played more comp, right?
That's
I'd
not
give
true.
the edge to the 49ers defense right now.
That's not true. They've both
I'd
played
give the edge
equal
to the
amount of
49ers
equal
defense.
amount of trash teams to make their defense look good. But you talk about the Patriots how. Oh, excuse me. You talk about the Patriots how they haven't played anybody. We play the Ravens. That's okay. The Ravens.
We played the Ravens. You got absolutely creamed.
We got shellacked.
Don't call the Cowboys anybody, because they haven't beat anybody either.
I'm sorry, but
They've
the
only beat the
Cowboys
trash
have the
teams.
number 1 offense in the league.
I'm sorry, but they haven't played anybody. They haven't won against anybody.
That is true.
Every time they go against somebody, they look like they're standstill. They look like they got struck by lightning. They don't know what to do.
I think it's some crazy stat I saw was like he's lost every single game against a team that was in the playoffs or a positive record team so far. So, Dak Prescott. But
I
the
mean,
thing is
they've
about,
literally
the
they've
thing,
played that offense, that top offense you talk of. That's 2 games against the Giants, a game against the Redskins, a game against the Dolphins. I mean, come on now.
But
These are common sense here.
I forgot what I was gonna say, man. Oh, yeah, Dak Prescott. If he was on any other team in the league and doing what he's doing right now, he'd be in the MVP talks. But just because he's on the Cowboys,
Not after last game.
well,
Any game that he goes, he's gonna have to show that he can do it. They're gonna have to make the playoffs. They have to show that he can do it against a good team, which they don't have, a great team on the schedule
but the
anymore.
thing is that
The
thing is
I don't
that,
even know actually.
Dak Prescott is
I don't think he would be in the MVP conversation right now.
Dak Prescott always does this. He starts off slow. He throws for like 92 yards and a half, and then the next half he throws for like 200 yards. And then everybody's like, "Oh wow, he was trash," but he was really trying to get his team back in there after his horrid defense let up 3 touchdowns to Aaron Rodgers at home. And
Horrid. The Cowboys defense is good. It is.
yeah, they're poorly coached. That's the thing. And you talk about
Yeah. Jason Garrett needs to get out of there.
Talk about the hot seats all over the league. I think Jason Garrett got the hottest of the seats.
Oh yeah.
That seat's been sitting in the sun for 9 years with 2 playoff wins.
Even if they do make the playoffs, if they get out first round, maybe in the wild card round, because their record's not going to be that good, they might make it with a 9-7 record. Jason Garrett better get fired if they don't get out at least the wild card round, and they better blow out that team.
Let me tell you something about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, it's Super Bowl or bust. You get to the Super Bowl, it's pretty simple for Jerry Jones right now. You get to the Super Bowl, you keep your job. You don't get to the Super Bowl, you lose. So it's a Super Bowl or bust situation for
They have one of the most talented rosters. They could be a Super Bowl team.
You know what I compare him to? I compare him to the Philadelphia 76ers. Because they have a talented roster, but they just don't seem like they can get it together. Brett Brown is not a good, but I digress. Because we could talk about that in a later segment coming down the line. But yeah, you have Brett Brown can't coach.
But it's a two-man race. It's a two-man race at the top of the NFC East: the Eagles and the Cowboys. And the Eagles have the easiest schedule. The easiest remaining schedule. It's just gonna come down to against the Cowboys in like week 17, I think. Yeah, the last game is gonna I think it's gonna have major playoff implications for who gets that final spot.
Oh yeah, but I'm not really a believer in the Eagles. The Eagles are pretty garbage.
I believe in the Eagles more than the Cowboys because at least the Eagles have they have a worse team, right?
The
but they're only
Eagles,
one game behind. They're in the
they
slump of things right now.
they have a
They have
solid
a
secondary.
they have a worse.
They have a
Oh,
solid
hold up.
second.
No, no, no,
They
no.
have a
The
solid
Eagles have a
secondary,
solid
but
secondary.
yeah, the Eagles have a solid secondary.
The Eagles,
They're
no, their
finally healthy,
secondary is
but
not.
what really concerns me about
I
the
don't know.
Eagles
It's
is
all
that
right.
who's Carson Wentz thrown to? Nobody. He's got Nelson Aguilar
Nelson
as
Aguilar.
his best receiver. Deshaun Jackson's out for the year. Alshon Jeffrey's always being banged up and nicked, and he really doesn't. And Alshon Jeffrey's not what he once was when he was on the Bears. What? Yeah, he was on the Bears.
I mean, we don't know that because he hasn't been playing.
No, I mean you saw him though. Like you saw, like he's had them flashes in the Super Bowl. He's had the flashes in last year's playoffs, but he's ever since that drop passed by Nick Foles in the playoffs in that one playoff series against the Bears. Was it against the Bears? No, it was against the Seahawks, I
It was
believe.
against the Saints.
Oh, the Saints. Yeah, Saints. Seahawks was
Eagles
even
should have won that
influence.
game, by the way.
I was hoping they didn't because if they won that game,
I think.
I believe that it would have been Patriots and Eagles again in the Super Bowl, 2 years in a row if they won that game against the Saints. But yeah, I believe that
Cowboys
the
are
Cowboys
underperforming.
have a better team. They're underperforming because they are terribly coached. You get somebody in there like Matt LaFleur, or you get a
Oh,
what's his
I'm
name?
not too sure about Matt LaFleur after last week because he didn't stick to the game plan last week. He was looking like Mike McCarthy. He was just letting Aaron Rodgers sting that thing. They had to get Aaron Jones more involved in the offense, and they did not.
The thing is
They
that
stopped
Aaron
running the
Jones,
ball completely.
they'll go to Aaron Jones for a passing play, or like in a
They
long
need to run
or a
the
long
ball
day.
over there in Greenball,
They'll really go to
in Green Bay.
to really go to Jamal Williams to pick up some yards on the ground. But as
Yeah,
far
but the
as I
thing
know,
is with the 49ers game, they didn't. When the pass rush is coming after your quarterback like that, you got to run the ball.
yeah,
Because
I
that
mean they
aggressive
just
pass rush, you just got to run right past it.
you
That's
know
what you got to do.
he's a rookie coach, so I guarantee he'll learn from something like this. Matt LaFleur is a great coach, and you put him together with Aaron Rodgers, it looks like they're friends out there,
We,
But
we got to talk about that 49ers and Packers game.
I would
Was
I
that
didn't even
more was that more on the Packers or was that more on Aaron Rodgers or the 49ers defense?
well, considering if they held the best passer
Now I have to tell
the
you.
football to 180 something yards
Oh yeah.
and no touchdowns,
What I think.
that defense, I'm telling you, that defense is top
That
top
defense,
three.
I mean, they're definitely top three. But
Whatever.
that defensive line, I mean, they were giving Aaron Rodgers no time to throw. Once that right tackle went out, Brian Bulaga went out, oh, it was over.
Yeah.
I mean, the pass rush was getting there like in a snap. If I could snap,
It
I'd show you.
reminds
You'd hear a snap.
it reminds me like this, like that in a snap.
Yeah.
It
As
reminds
soon
me
as
of them
Aaron
Troy
Rodgers is
Polamalu
having no
days.
time,
Reminds me of the Troy Polamalu days where man would just rush up the middle.
lining up in the C gap and shit.
Man would just rush up the middle, and then I remember one time the Steelers were playing the Patriots, and Tom Brady literally takes the ball, gets the snap, turns around to play action to the running back, and long and behold, there's Troy Polamalu in his face when he turns around. I mean, if you're a
The
quarterback,
thing
think
is,
about
the 49ers don't even blitz like that. They just win their one-on-one matchups.
yeah.
The
You gotta
49ers really don't even blitz.
you gotta have you gotta have an O line that can handle these one-on-one matchups because obviously Nick Bosa, is a freak. The man can blitz you and rush you without even blitzing more than four. I actually think they can blitz you. They can rush you with three. Honestly, if you want to drop the extra person back into coverage,
Yeah,
that's how
maybe.
good that D line is. You know, but
I think I remember one time they never mind. That was against the Ravens. That was the Ravens, and yeah, that was the other game.
yeah, and then one missed kick, and we're talking about the 49ers being undefeated right now, sitting 12 and
Oh
0.
yeah. If Robbie Gould didn't get injured, I mean that it's a rookie kicker after all.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just really be like
and their
that
starting
sometimes.
kicker is injured right now.
So
Robbie Gould,
yeah,
veteran kicker.
but yeah, good talking. Good
But I
talks
think
about the
a
NFL.
Ravens, any team that can hold the 101 against this 49ers defense, I think they're very beatable. Because without that D line, of course, respectable secondary, but that D line does majority of the work. And that running game,
I think it
I
kind
don't
of
know
goes.
if I don't think
It goes hand in
I
hand.
think some teams are gonna kind of somehow eliminate the running game for the 49ers, and it's going to be put on Jimmy Garoppolo's shoulders. And I don't know. I still don't know if he could do it. I know he was playing good, but I don't think he could.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
you saw what he did against the Seattle Seahawks. He was just panicking every single time. He had to drag
Yeah,
back and throw.
every time you pressure Jimmy G a little bit, I mean, he just freaks out.
Yeah.
So
This is something I guarantee you though. If he stayed with the Patriots, and I'm not an advocate for the Tom Brady to leave train because at the end of the day, um, Robert Kraft had to make a choice. Do you want this young kid that hasn't proved anything to take over a franchise that Tom Brady's still going strong, and like he made the right choice because we still got a Super Bowl out of that trade. I mean, still got a Super Bowl regardless of who it was, but you just with someone like Bill Belichick and him handpicking Jimmy G, you never know what could have happened. He could have had maybe 15 another 20
he
years.
could have had mononucleosis.
He could have had another 20 years with like back-to-back 20-year dynasties, man. Like 40-year dynasties. That's never going to happen again. But who knows? You know? It's hard to
I mean,
gauge. It's hard to gauge what
who knows? Maybe if Jimmy G stays in New England, he gets bored. He ends up actually becoming a porn star, and he ends up going rogue. You never know. I mean,
I'm
come
sure
on
that'll
now.
happen especially under Bill Belichick's era. But moving on to another topic that was kind of taken by storm over the last 2 weeks. Again, I haven't been able to do the podcast in about 3 weeks because
Yeah,
the room was getting renovated and stuff.
yeah,
So during that time, Colin Kaepernick got an NFL tryout finally with some of these teams, and right before maybe 45 minutes, I think it was, the workout started at the Atlanta Falcons training facility. He moved it 53 miles away, um,
yeah. To a high school.
to a local high school because I understand why he did that, but let me tell you where he messed up. Um, Imagine you going in for a job interview, and they tell you you can't bring your cell phone, and the only thing you have to bring is yourself, and that's it. You don't know who's interviewing you, you don't know who's taking you there, you don't know anything. You go in there and you be like, and they tell you that beforehand, and you're like, nope, I know this guy in the company, I want him to interview me, and I want to record this interview. But they tell you, listen, you can't record the interview. It just, you can't do it. Now, I understand it was compromising to his better judgment because obviously the man needed this recording to happen because he wanted to control the narrative. But you have an opportunity to go and prove yourself and just go out there and perform and do your best, and he just goes out there and moves like, I understand if he moved it like a little closer just so you can be in an open area so you can record, but he moved it 53 miles away. It takes me, it's
Hmm.
about a 12, I have, for me to my school, it's 12 miles away. It takes me 25 minutes to get there. Now, moving a practice 45 minutes away with 25 teams there ready to take a look at you and ask you questions to see where you are, if you're game ready, and you move it and only 5 teams are that desperate to come to see you. Now, that's where he messed up. Another place where he messed up
Yeah.
is not taking any questions. He just went up there, gave his little spiel about, I've been denied for 3 years and I've been ready for 3 years speech, and he didn't take any questions. He had his supporters there, his people there, his recording, and he didn't take any questions, which makes me believe that, is he really doing this for for himself as a brand, or is he doing this because he
Hmm.
genuinely wants to play? Because if you genuinely wanted to play, you would be desperate. If a team was like, okay, we're gonna give you a tryout, just sign this contract, but this doesn't guarantee you a job. What are you gonna do in this situation, Tyler? Are you gonna sign that contract and go there and bust your ass in there, or are you gonna just bitch and moan about it the whole time and be like,
You
hey,
gotta
listen,
sign the
you
contract.
gotta sign the contract if you want to play.
And
It's just that simple.
let me tell you about this whole situation, right? If you want to get into the NFL so bad, right? You're like, oh, I want to get back in so bad. Like he set up this tryout, right? And the NFL set up this tryout. You can't just play on your own terms. You have to play on their terms.
Cause they
If you're trying to get back into their league, you have to play in their terms. You can't just do that. like I get it. He wants to get his brand out there.
He
I
wants
think this is more
transparency.
about himself.
Yeah.
I don't even think does he really want to get back into the league? I think that's what teams are really asking themselves right now.
I wasn't sure of that, but another thing that's really shady though on the NFL's part, they did this. Maybe they planned this in about 3 days, and they said, "Listen, this is what's gonna happen, and this is the contract." And it's kind of shady on the NFL's part that they weren't willing to move the date back. They just said, "Hey, listen, here's a workout Saturday. Get there, sign the paper, and you get to work out. Um, you can't bring any cameras inside." See, that's pretty
I think
shady. Because
if
another
he
thing
really
is,
wanted to get back into the NFL, he he should have just did that, right? That's
yeah,
the smartest decision.
that's the smartest decision as an athlete. Is if we want to get an opportunity, it's not just as an athlete. If someone comes up to you and listen, you're down on your luck and you're trying to find a job, and this guy offers you a job and he has special parameters because of your past, you gotta just follow their rules. But the thing is that the NFL would not move the date back, or front, or anywhere. They just wanted it to be Saturday at the Falcons practice facility. No questions asked. Show up and do your thing. And I agree with
And
that. He should have done that. 25 people were there wasting their time on a Saturday
scouts
before the
actually
Sunday.
moved scouts actually moved 60 miles to just watch this man practice. They were interested, right?
Only 5 of them though. 5 out of the
Only
25 that were
5.
there.
But
So
that's still 5 teams that's literally willing to travel 60 miles to a different place on a Saturday afternoon to watch you practice.
before a game, by the way. The Sun
Yeah.
obviously the NFL's on a Sunday,
I don't
so
think the scouts are that like in tune with like
I don't.
the games actually because they just want to get the best talent.
And I don't think those scouts that were there, the 25 original scouts, they were all gonna take them anyway, regardless if they wanted what they if they liked him or not. They just wanted to see what he had. It was just kind of
Hmm.
something that something that they just wanted to see. Because you get a chance to see what Colin Kaepernick has after 3 years of him, quote unquote, being ready to play the football game again. It's just something you want to see. And another thing that was very sketchy by the NFL is that why was it like an NFL thing? Like, it's if I wanted to go, I don't know, sign um whatever kicker, right? If I wanted to go try this kicker out, I would just go talk to the kicker's representative, and I'd be like, "Listen, we want to try you out. Just come to our facility and we'll give you a shot." And that's without the NFL being involved in any which way. Now, what's the difference when you have someone like Colin Kaepernick, who was technically a free agent? So it's kind of like admitting that he was blackballed the whole time. It's in a way, if you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Because for them to be like, okay, now you can sign, like, the NFL has to step in and be like, now you can sign him. That just proves that the NFL was like, hey, don't stay away from this guy the whole time. So,
Hmm.
um, again, I think both sides are pretty wrong.
I
And
get where Colin Kaepernick. I mean, he didn't have his wide receivers. He didn't have his team with him. You know,
yeah,
he wanted everything to be in his favor, I guess, and he wanted to, he wanted to gain some clout from this kind of, with that
well,
big thing
usually
that he said
usually
at
with
the end.
this kind of stuff, it's a negotiation. You got to see who's got what. Okay, so if I can't have cameras in there, let me bring my own wide receiver. You said something like that. If you're not going to give me my wide receivers, then I'm going to bring my cameras in there to see what these other wide receivers are doing. These wide receivers can go out there and drop balls on purpose. You know what I mean? Or like run the wrong route or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's just about trust. And yeah, that's really what I gotta say about Colin Kaepernick. Um, my closing thoughts is like, I don't believe that he wanted to play football. I think he just wanted to get out there in the media again for another chance
yeah.
at popularity, and because this
That's
workout
what it
kind of
looked like, at least.
came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, here's Colin Kaepernick getting worked out. It's just like, no one expected it, no one cared really, and yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
our
Not a lot,
next
not a lot.
our next topic we're gonna talk about is the MVP so far. It's kind of redundant to ask this question because we both have probably the same answer. The MVP of the
Yeah,
NFL. Um, we can probably move past this quick. I think
LeBron Jackson.
I think Russell Wilson had a pretty good edge on him, but these last couple weeks, man, the man's been on
Oh
fire.
yeah.
I can't debate it any longer. Um,
I thought it was Russell Wilson before these last couple weeks too. But
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson has just been completely just looking like he's making the NFL look like child's play. I mean,
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
He's making these 250-pound men, grown men, look like fools out here. He's playing Madden right now. This is this.
Yeah, pretty
I don't
much.
think I could have created this guy in Madden. This is how good he is. I've always created a scrambler QB on Madden. He still couldn't run as fast. He couldn't pass as well. You know.
hmm
So, I mean, Lamar Jackson's clear-cut favorite. Um, I guess he's another Patrick Mahomes, second year. But the thing
MVP.
is I'm afraid that he's gonna peak too early, and he's just gonna like Patrick Mahomes is never gonna throw 50 touchdowns again. Let's be honest here. He's never gonna throw
He
50
probably
touchdowns.
will.
I don't think so. As
The
long
amount of talent that Patrick Mahomes has, he'll throw it again.
he'll go close. I'm just saying he won't have the same season as his MVP season. You talk about 50
It's
touchdowns a
possible. The
year.
amount of talent
There's
that
only
that man
three people
has,
that's ever done that: Tom
Peyton
Brady,
Manning,
Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes. So to throw 50 touchdowns
and Drew
is
Brees.
was it Drew Brees? I don't think Drew Brees threw 50
Drew Brees threw
touchdowns.
50. I know for a fact he had to throw 50.
No, I mean
That's one of the greatest.
I know he pads the stats and
He
everything,
does.
but
Listen. Drew Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he just plays the game. Most of his career he didn't have much help because the Saints suck. So yeah, I
so
mean he had to do what he had to do,
Peyton
right?
Manning had the most touchdowns recorded in 2013 with 55 touchdowns, and yeah, only let me right here, Pro Football Reference. So yeah, uh, Peyton Manning 55, Tom Brady 50, Patrick Mahomes 50. The next one is Peyton Manning again 49, and then Dan Marino. The highest touchdowns that Drew Brees has ever thrown was 46 in a year. So
Pretty close.
that's close. Um, so all in all, I'm seeing Aaron Rodgers a lot on here. 39, 40, 45.
Yep, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about it for the NFL segment of the podcast. We talked about a lot. Talked about how dominant Lamar Jackson was for about half the time that up until this point. It's just 32 minutes, so we probably talked about him for a good 60 minutes. All right, so on to the NBA. Now, last night,
That stands for National Basketball Association.
yes,
If
yes it does.
you guys didn't know.
Well, if you're watching the show, I'd hope you know what the NBA stands for, because if you're not, then we've got a lot of teaching to do. But Tyler, you know this last night. I came upon a
Yep, you came
revolution.
out. You came out like a gay man. Came
I
out the closet.
I came upon a revolution in my head, and
You're late
all
to the
these
party,
years,
by the way.
all these years, I've been saying Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. If it's not Michael Jordan, then it's Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's the GOAT. Kobe Bryant's the most
I
unstoppable.
think what really pushed you over the edge is that we were calling you an old head.
And
Let's be honest here.
I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was, you know. So let me give you a breakdown. LeBron James, right? LeBron James played the 6-12 San Antonio Spurs, and that was the
So
game that broke me. That was the game that I was just like, it wasn't even against anybody. Like there's no notable defender he was playing, but it was just crazy, crazy to see what he's been
I
doing.
think you're very late to the party. This
Is
is like I've been having this party since playoffs in 2018.
and you know I've been hating on LeBron James. I'm not gonna lie. I was a LeBron hater
Yes, yep,
for
yep, we know
about
that.
when he left Cleveland the first time. What was it? 2011, 2012, something like that. And what
Yes.
intensified that was when he lost. I was like, let's go. The man lost the damn game against Dirk Nowitzki and nobody else. And it was just my hate intensified. And everything he did on the court, it was just like annoying. Like he'd like shrug his shoulders, and I'd be like, bro, this guy thinks he's like the like big shit, right? And this season, talk about a guy that's 35 years old in year 17. You know who else is in year 17 that's fighting for a job right now? Carmelo
Who
Anthony.
was that?
Carmelo Anthony
Yes,
was
it's
fighting
Carmelo
for a
Anthony.
job in year 17. Chris Bosh
I mean, we
retired.
could debate. We could debate that. I mean, Carmelo was never even like all that.
Well, Carmelo was definitely a
He was
great.
very, very good, but he wasn't like, he wasn't like generational. You know what I'm saying?
I can get. I understand that, but
Great scorer, but like
um,
there are better
you
players.
talk about Carmelo Anthony, who was out of the league for a year. Dwayne Wade retired. Chris Bosh retired. You know, that
For
draft
like,
class is very legendary, and
yeah,
you got LeBron
it's too
still.
bad Chris Bosh's career got cut short.
Yeah, because he had the blood clots. Hopefully,
Yeah, pretty sad.
I heard that he was supposed to come back, but he was he was obviously his
He's not
career.
coming back though.
Yeah, his career is cut short. So um, but yeah, LeBron James is a legendary athlete. I don't think we're gonna see. I don't think we'll see another LeBron James again in my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think we will.
So
Unless somehow, his kid's coming up. He's getting a lot of hype, but I don't think he'll. I don't. He won't be near LeBron, but he might be something.
he won't be anywhere close to LeBron. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, he won't, but maybe he'll be something.
And here I stand before you, Tyler Vice, and I gotta tell you something.
Hmm.
LeBron James is the greatest NBA player to ever step on a court. There, I said it. I said it.
It's about time.
I am joining the train. Hold on.
I just want to say I've been on this train since 2018 playoffs. Ever since I saw that man go off in the playoffs like that, I've never seen anything like that before. I
Keep
knew
this
I was
podcast
watching the
rolling.
greatest basketball. Knew I was watching the greatest basketball player of all time when I was watching that 2018 playoff series. LeBron just hitting game-winning shot over and over again, just completely dismantling his teams by himself. It was unbelievable. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So, what's the next topic here, other than LeBron James to go? So I guess Louai's not right here. So I guess the next topic is how Joel Embiid got completely clamped by Marc Gasol and the Raptors. Joel Embiid in 32 minutes, 0 for 11 scoring, 0 for 3 from 3. 0 points. Joel Embiid did not show up to the game. Even though I pointed this out to Louai, Marc Gasol is a defensive nightmare for Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid still did not show up and definitely didn't show out. And that's actually one of the first games in a while that he got shut down. So I think it's definitely Marc Gasol. That's all I have to say. You saw Stephen A on TV today. He was yelling at Joel Embiid. It was ridiculous. And, you know, 76ers, they were my pick to go to the finals. And they still are, kind of. Because I think they are the most talented team in the East. And I feel like a lot of people, pick them to go to the finals, right? But I think they got to make a trade or they got to sign Jamal Crawford. I think that's the two options to make them better. Now, if I were them, I would sign Jamal Crawford. But I'm not them, so I don't know what they're gonna do. They're lacking bench depth, obviously. Ben Simmons hit a three, but it was only one. I mean, it's kind of like those things. Oh yeah, he hit a three. It's cool, but he's probably not gonna keep it up, which probably been that so far. And actually have a question about the 76ers, about everything, how the team fits together too. They have the most talented team. Is Al Horford and Joel Embiid going to continue to fit together? Al Horford, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, lack of shooting there. They need someone off the bench. That's what they need. And I guess I'm just going to keep talking until Louai comes back. What else should I talk about? The Clippers, how Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell are actually carrying that team. And Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are just taking a back seat, which is actually scary. Scary, big scary for the NBA. the fact that Paul George and Kawhi aren't performing, and the Clippers are still, they're still winning games, of course, because they're a very good team. But that even shows in the playoffs that, man, they're going to be scary. The Lakers have a tough task in front of them, and the Rockets, Russell Westbrook, Louai and me thought they were going to work together better, but it's still a long season. I think they can still pull it together if Russell Westbrook, they're still getting their chemistry, I think. And hopefully they can get it there that the Rockets can play some good basketball in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the chip, but I'm all here for it. I'm all here. I'm all here for some good playoff basketball. So yeah, I really don't pay attention to the NBA season until the NFL season's over, because I'm just that big of a fan of the NFL. But I'm still into the NBA. Still talk about it. Still pay attention to it. My MVP so far in the NBA? I don't know. I'm not sure about the MVP. It's either Luka, LeBron, Giannis. And honestly, if I had to pick an MVP so far, probably Giannis. Yeah, Giannis is just being Giannis or LeBron. I don't know about Luka. That's kind of a little bit far fetched. I don't see him winning an MVP this season. That's kind of ridiculous. But if they get the only way I could see Luka winning MVP, if they get like a top 4 seed, maybe, and he keeps these numbers up, he could possibly win MVP. But right now, I think it's Giannis or LeBron. And whichever team has a better record at the end of the season, we'll win it. Just like it is every year with MVP. Or most years. So yeah, that's my own spill on MVP. The teams that are hot and not now in the East. I just talked about the West a lot. But in the East, well, not actually. I talked about the 76ers also. But in the East, the Celtics. Now, a lot of people, I don't know why teams are sleeping on the Celtics coming into the season. I knew the Celtics were going to be nice. Celtics are now 12-4. I think that's one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Another team that a lot of people are sleeping on in the Eastern Conference, the Raptors.
Yes,
Obviously,
excellent,
nobody saw the Heat. Nobody saw the Heat coming in
excellent,
to the season
excellent filling in for me.
being 12-4. The Raptors are 12-4. I told boy the Nets are going to be worse with Kyrie Irving, and that has proven until this point. Even though Kyrie is injured, they were still not good when Kyrie was there.
Um,
So
Listen,
yeah,
buddy. Let me not get started about the Nets. You talk about a player and Spencer Dinwiddie. That was, what is it? Eastern Conference Player of the week of the month, I
oh
believe.
yeah. Spencer Dinwiddie's he's the bucket getter of the East. You got Lou Will in the West. You got Spencer Dinwiddie in the East.
And they both play very similar positions in terms of the fact
Yeah,
that they come off the bench and they just get the buckets right now, right away. That's why the Nets jumped on an opportunity to sign him. Because
I think Lou Will is just a little bit more finesse. Spencer Dinwiddie would
oh yeah,
he's a little bit of a physical guard.
you'll go in there. He's about
You know.
6'6". They'll go in there and try to
Oh yeah,
dunk it on you. Lou Will will just sit there and
he's all finesse. He'll just put the moves on you. You're going all over the place, skating all over the place. Lou Will's is getting buckets.
yeah. You talk about someone. You talk about Lou Williams. Let's talk about the Clippers in general.
Oh yeah, I was actually talking about them when you were gone about how they're still Lou Will and Montrez are pretty much carrying the load, which is actually scary for the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty terrifying.
I just think, as much of a Kawhi believer I am, I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him. You know, my man is my man's a two-time MVP, NBA champion, two-time
Yeah,
Finals
two times Finals MVP.
an All-Defensive Player, and the man can't play two back-to-back games. Oh,
I
you
mean, come
gotta
on,
be
Kawhi.
kidding me! Like I understand he's nursing that injury, like the quote-unquote injury, that he's had. But come on, man, how long is he gonna be, man? Like he can't play back-to-back games. Paul George coming off a shoulder injury.
A shoulder injury. He's playing back to back.
He's sitting there dropping 35 points, 40 points in 20 minutes. Like the man, the at this point, I think Paul George is a better two-way player than Kawhi. Honestly.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I think Kawhi just knows at this point that his team is good enough without him to obviously make the playoffs, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's just suiting up for another great playoff run.
Yeah. That's.
I expect, with Kawhi taking all this time off, he better have a legendary playoff run.
I mean, that's what happened last year. Last year it was kind of.
Yeah.
He talked
Like
about LeBron's 2018
he
run.
played.
That was legendary. This one's right up there with it.
I mean,
And-
LeBron played like the whole regular season that
Yeah.
season though.
Because that's like LeBron. That's what he does, man. He just takes the team
Yeah.
all the way to the promised land, just like what he did to the Cavs 4 times in a row.
I mean, he may get some rest like the last couple of games, but
Yeah.
not in like the midst of the season.
I'm pretty sure LeBron wants to be comfortable to the fact that if they start taking these losses, start taking 3-4 losses in a row, that they'll be okay in the West. They'll still be first or second in the West. That's what I feel like LeBron's playing for right now. He's
The
playing
Lakers are like 15-2 right now, right?
14-2, and it's
I think they're 15-2, right?
no.
Because they just beat the Spurs.
Last
They
year,
were 15.
yesterday, they made them 14-2.
Okay,
Which is going to be the
that's crazy. That's the
Ravens
best
are-
part of LeBron's career.
yeah. He's off to a great start. You see, you pair him with another player that's willing to play with him, another
Mhm.
quality player that's willing to play with him.
No, they're actually 15-2, Lou.
Oh, they're 15-2. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 15-2.
So, this is what happens when you give LeBron James another superstar. That's nice. I mean, Kyrie goes with LeBron, but I think Kyrie has started. I can understand where Kyrie's coming from, given the fact that.
And I think Anthony Davis can actually play off the ball too, which what we haven't seen from Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
But he can actually play off the ball.
But yeah, you have Kyrie that needed the ball in his hands to be effective. You needed Kyrie to control
Bucket
the
getter.
offense. But another thing though, the 2016 finals, I think they shared the ball exactly, perfectly, almost perfectly.
Yeah.
They both had 28 points in one game. It's crazy, you know. Kyrie just. I think in 2015 they would have won it too if Kyrie and K Love didn't get injured in the
Yeah.
first round.
I mean,
So
LeBron's second best player was Matthew Dellavedova.
yeah. So that's why they came back in 3-1 deficit. I think that also made him the GOAT. But yeah. But another
And he
thing,
led both teams in every single statistical category. That was amazing.
onto the Western Conference counterpart of the Lakers, the Rockets. The Rockets are
Yeah.
the Rockets.
They're 11-5. They're not. Their record doesn't say they're that bad, but I think, man,
How do you think?
I think they're in.
How
I
do
think they're in trouble.
How do you think Russell Westbrook has fared well with the Houston Rockets so far? Given the fact that James Harden is still doing what he does, dropping 40 points. He's averaging 40 points right now. For this
I mean,
week.
he has. If anything, he has to do more this season now. I just don't. I know you thought. We both thought that it was going to work a little bit, smoother between Russell Westbrook and James Harden, but it really hasn't to this point. And I think if this continues, the Rockets are in deep trouble going to the playoffs.
Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Russell Westbrook is a phenomenal player. He still has a huge impact on the game. You have someone there that's gonna give you constant energy throughout the game. Someone that's gonna give you 100% every single game, no matter what's going
Mhm.
on. The man averaged 3 straight triple doubles. He won't average it this year, obviously, because you have
Yeah.
another guy. And yeah.
I just think Russell Westbrook. Let me look at his shooting percentages.
Oh, I think it's low, lower than last year.
Um,
I know the three.
really, the field percentage is around the same, shooting at around 42%. I think that 3-point percentage is way down.
Yeah,
I don't see it, but I think it's like 20,
it's definitely worse than
which
last
we knew
season.
this about Russell Westbrook. That, took a lot of shots, didn't make a ton of shots, less than half. But, he got his. and it's the same thing this season. But I don't think that's a winning style,
Yeah.
especially the other teams that are in the West.
Um.
So yeah,
Yeah, I definitely thought that they would fit a lot better than what
I
they've
mean, there's
shown.
still time
But
though.
there's still a
That's
lot
the
of time.
thing.
You have to remember that we're only first month in the
Oh
season,
yeah,
man.
there's 82 games in this thing.
Yeah. There's a whole 82 games that we got to get through, and I think around the All Star break we'll start seeing who's the contenders and who's the pretenders. Um,
Yep.
like right now, as of right now, I think the Raptors are pretenders.
Oof.
Um,
I don't know. The Raptors.
Raptors do look good
You
though,
you know. So
Spicy
you
D.
think the Raptors bigger pretenders than the Heat?
No, Heat are the biggest pretenders in the East right now. This whole little honeymoon with Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero is no more. Okay, it's not gonna last for
Yeah.
long when you have a center that's Kelly Olynyk. Um, you got what's his name, Jimmy
What
Butler
is
on
his
there.
name? Jimmy Butler. Yep.
Um, he doesn't look the same in the system. Personally, I think he should have stayed with the 76ers. I think the 76ers really messed up, royally
Mm.
messed up by giving
Mm.
Tobias Harris the max.
Oh yeah.
But
I think they messed up. I don't think Tobias Harris should be paid that much money.
I was hoping someone else would take him because I know the Nets were gonna offer him the max, and you see what happened. The
Because
Nets,
Tobias Harris last year in the playoffs, he didn't even show up much.
he stunk.
I don't know what really wanted to make them give Tobias Harris that super max.
Well, it was quite
I mean,
simple.
that was.
If they didn't give
I
him the
get that
max,
they want to go for the chip,
if they didn't give him
but
the
like,
max,
come
he
on.
was out of there. They would have lost another shooter, and there's no way that they would have gotten him
I think it
for
would have been
cheaper.
better if they just,
But
they have two stars and Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and then they surround them with like good role players.
I don't think
And
I don't think
I don't know about Tobias Harris.
I don't think Joel Embiid should be um, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons should be on the same team. Um, when I really look at it, I think Ben Simmons should be on a completely different team, surrounded with a bunch of shooters, kind of like how Giannis is. Now his playstyle is
Yeah,
not similar to Giannis at all. I mean, it kind of is. He goes in there and
I
goes
feel
and
like Ben
dunks.
Simmons could do the same type of thing. The difference is Giannis actually has a whole system built around him.
Yeah, but that's
Ben
because
Simmons is like,
he's been there for 7 years or 8 years or something like that.
well, it wasn't really about that. It was about the coach that they had. They put Giannis, Mike Budenholzer, as soon as he was the coach or he started coaching the Bucks, he was like, "We're gonna build our offense around this guy,"
Yeah,
kind of like
a lot of these coaches
how
wanna
John Harbaugh did to Lamar Jackson.
a lot of these coaches just wanna have it be all inclusive. They want every single player to be part of the team, but it's really like you have a player like LeBron or Giannis. Listen,
You make them the system,
it's gonna be
and you
simple.
fit everyone around them.
Every single possession up the floor, every single offensive possession up the floor, the ball is gonna be in Giannis's hand, or every single
Hmm.
possession up the floor is gonna be in LeBron's hand. Every single possession is gonna be in Kobe's hand. Like it's just that simple. When you have the
I feel like
when you're the best player on your team, you got to run through them. I don't care what the team says. I don't care what the media says. Imagine if they sat there and they ran the offense through George Hill, or they ran the offense through everything, and they had a balanced offense. It wasn't like here you go, Giannis, take the ball up the court and dunk it on 4 people. It would have been like, okay, we're gonna get into the half court, and then what's gonna happen? That's what's going on with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons gets into the half court, can't score, he can't pass the ball, he can't shoot, he can't do
they don't
anything,
spread it out for him. He ends up going into the post, just sitting down there.
and he's not
Well,
efficient at all.
Last year, Jimmy Butler was the main ball handler. I just think that Ben Simmons needs a better situation for him. He needs a Giannis type situation where they run a five out. He needs shooters all around him. He can just run a five out like Giannis.
What? So, in your opinion, what's one team that can seriously have Ben Simmons in their system and excel?
Well, I think it has to be a team without another main ball handler. Um, hmm.
I'm thinking the Magic. The
The
Magic,
Magic, yeah, but they don't have a lot of shooting
they don't
either.
have shooting. Um,
Um, man.
That's hard because
What's a team? I don't know. It has a team. It has to be a team with like not really a number one option, a lot of shooting,
the only
and
team I think
just
the only team like that is the Lakers, but they've already got LeBron, so
yeah.
um, there's not many places that they can give him.
I'd have to hold on. Let me look at all the teams. I'll make
You
my
don't even
assumption.
you don't even know the NBA teams.
I mean, I do, but I just can't think of it right
But yeah, you
now.
have Ben Simmons. I'm I think the 76ers should fire Brett Brown. I don't care that they've had this playoff success. If you're not getting to the finals with the current squad that you have now, you're not doing it right. It's that simple. And when you're not doing it right, you gotta get fired. Just like Jason Garrett.
Team?
Like I made that earlier in the podcast. I made the comparison to Jason. I made Brett Brown in comparison to Jason Garrett. They've got this. They've got this talent on the roster. They can't put it together. They can't put it together. And
I could see maybe the Bulls, the Raptors, teams that have like shooting centers that they have like good shooting.
yeah,
But I
but
mean, there's not a lot of teams that like.
there's never gonna be a situation where you have Brook Lopez who can just sit out there and shoot deep, long range bombs. George Hill is sitting in the corner.
I mean, Marcus All can
You have.
shoot. The Bulls, can Wendell Carter shoot? I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure.
think he can shoot a
I
little
doubt he
bit.
can.
I don't know.
Consistently, at least.
I think it just has to be a team that needs their guy. Like they just need that guy in their franchise that they can build around. That's the team that Ben Simmons needs to go to. Or, which this is probably not going to happen, they could trade Joel Embiid instead of trading Ben Simmons.
I mean, they do have Al Horford, but Joel Embiid. Oh, can we just talk about the 0 points that he put up? That one, it's across the board. 0 for 11, 0 for 4 from
Yeah,
three.
he didn't show up or show
Obviously,
out.
it's the coach. All right, he's the equivalent of Dak Prescott. He's got so much talent, but he can't put it together. The Cowboys, I'm convinced, the Dallas Cowboys are the
I mean,
Philadelphia 76ers of the NBA,
at
and
least the
vice versa.
76ers can go deep in the playoffs. They're kind of deep in the playoffs.
Well,
Cowboys can
I'd
barely
argue
get to the
that I'd
playoffs,
argue that
and if you go to the playoffs, they
well,
can barely go
NFL
anywhere.
playoffs are a lot harder because it's one round and elimination, obviously.
Well,
And
NFL playoffs are a lot more like random, right? Because it's like one game.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's harder to get through in the playoffs in the NFL. But if you're the 76ers,
Hmm.
the way the the way the playoffs work is that you get the weaker team. So if you're the second seed, you get the seventh seed. It's
In the
and that's
NFL, you don't always get the weaker team
and
because you
it's
know how the divisions
yeah,
work
yeah,
and
yeah.
wild card.
Especially since they're in the East, you're not going to see any comp until like the fourth seed. You know that it really goes 4 seeds deep or 5 seeds deep, and that's where the comp is.
Now the
So
NFC and like the NFL, those six teams are gonna make the playoffs. I mean, I don't see any of those teams falling out. The Vikings are good, Seahawks are good. Every team in there is pretty much gonna make it except the Cowboys,
yeah.
maybe, or the Eagles. Cowboys or Eagles.
So let me see if I had any topics lined up. Oh, yeah. These statement jerseys. They've got to hire me, man. I've made better jerseys on NBA 2K than what these professional designers have made. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some nice jerseys, some
Hmm.
jerseys I'd buy. The Nets Bet-Stuy jersey I'd buy. The Toronto Raptors jersey I'd buy. The what's that one jersey? I'm not sure, but
I
there's
like
like
the Heat. I like the Heat's
there's a hand
statements, even though they like look the same.
there's only a handful. Oh, the Nuggets jerseys I'd buy. There's only a handful of jerseys that I would actually go out there
I like the
purchase.
Sixers statements.
Oh, the Sixers, yeah, the Sixers are cool. The not the Raptors. What's the Atlanta team? The Hawks.
Yeah,
Um, the Hawks team jerseys with the Peachtree thing. Those are fire. Um,
yeah,
but you've got some teams like the Mavericks. Like, what are they thinking?
yeah.
Like,
That's kind
what are they?
of that's such a basic design too for like a statement.
What are they thinking? They got the
And
Mavs
literally,
in
it goes
graffiti.
against the whole name of the statement jerseys.
It's
Like those
so
jerseys are supposed to make like a statement or something, right?
yeah. Like you have Bed Stuy. Like It's Bed-Stuy because it's a quick. Let me like explain it real quick for the Nets. The Bed-Stuy is Bedford and Stuyvesant or something like that. It's a cross section between two
Yeah.
streets that Biggie um used to live
But
around.
nobody even really knows about that though.
But there's that's the message behind it though. It's like you
Yeah.
have Christopher. They're called the Christopher Wallace jersey for Biggie. So, and there's a street named Christopher Wallace. So it's kind of like in the Brooklyn. That's where Biggie grew up. So that's why those jerseys are are named for Biggie. There's a message behind it. You know, the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, one of the most historical teams. They've got
Yeah.
the 76ers written script. So, because they wrote the Constitution there, you know, they have Peachtree, obviously,
Georgia
Georgia
with his
with the
peaches.
peaches. Um, but the Mavs, I mean, they're just Dallas. I mean,
Like practice
the
jerseys. I mean,
the statement ones that
look
they,
like those jerseys on 2K that like use on practice mode.
yeah.
I like the Rockets ones.
The
I think
H
they look
Town
pretty
ones, yep,
clean.
those are clean. The font has a lot to do with the jerseys. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, statement jerseys are some of them are. There's only a handful
You know,
that
Miami Heat's jerseys, they're hitting again this year. Same design, but it's still clean.
it's kind of getting old, honestly. They just switch
Yeah,
it up.
it's kind of old. They just keep changing the colors every year.
Yeah, it's like okay, black. They will do like white and
Black, pink,
white.
then white,
Yeah.
blue. And then
So
like next year they have to change the design. There's no way they stay with the name.
they'll do
There's no
like
way they stay with the
no.
same
They already
design.
have a pink one. A pink. That's the
Yeah.
those are the playoff edition jerseys. I can't wait for
Mhm.
those jerseys if they're doing it again. I hope the Nets get one because obviously they made the playoffs. So
Yeah.
every team got a playoff edition one. And another thing on 2K, why can't I change the jerseys, please? Like I want to play when I play my friends. I want to change the jerseys to wear what I want to wear. For some reason, it doesn't let you change the jerseys online. That's why 2K is a garbage game. Anyway, I digress. And I think that's gonna be it for the show today. We had a lot to talk
All
about.
right.
Half of it
Yep.
was Lamar
Had a lot
Jackson,
to
half of
catch
it
on.
was LeBron James, and
Yep.
it's just what the media is nowadays. It was all
Yeah.
about it's all about those two and the out there. You have any final thoughts or concerns or questions or comments you want to throw in there until next week?
I hope the Falcons get a top 5 pick and we get Chase Young somehow.
Chase
You
Young.
know, stud out of college, by the way, straight out of Ohio State.
I think the Falcons should get a new quarterback because you know the one that's currently
I don't
there
know
is not
about
doing the
that
job.
one.
Let's
That's like one of our least concerns.
you know what he does? He takes the ball from Alex Mack, right? He drops back in the pocket.
Yep.
He reads the field. You know he needs glasses, right? Because he's old man now. Oh, is that number 11 right there, or is that number 14? I can't see.
Listen, let
I
me tell you,
I
let me
really
tell you something about this Falcons
he goes
offense.
like, I really hope this is Julio Jones because if it's not, I'm gonna get intercepted here. And he just throws it up, and he goes like, okay, please be Julio Jones, please be Julio Jones. If he catches it, this is gonna be a touchdown. He caught it. That's what he does. It's just that simple.
Listen, no. He can't even get time to do that anymore because our line's so bad. If you watch the last game, we were just getting dominated by the Bucks D line.
You know what Matt Ryan is? He's got four
What is
plays.
he?
He's got
He's the MVP.
he's got 4 verts in Madden. He's got the slants and he's got 2 running plays in there. That's all he got.
I don't know what you're
Running
talking
plays.
about. Matt Ryan is an elite quarterback, top 6 quarterback in the NFL.
Top 6. What the hell?
Top 6,
Well, we'll have to
maybe
see what
top 5 if we're pushing it.
we'll have to see what the Falcons do next season because
I think you know what I said this last year. I don't know, keep saying it every year, but this is our year next season.
you
Next
said,
year is our year.
I think last year you told me that they were Super Bowl 53 bound. In your own
Super Bowl
stadium.
55 bound now.
In your own stadium. You're gonna play the
Yep.
Super Bowl against the Patriots in our own stadium, and we're gonna win. And let me tell you something. What a bomb!
Usually about this time when the Falcons are eliminated, I'm just hoping that the Saints
Hey,
don't win the Super Bowl.
you never know. The Falcons can run the table and end up 9-7.
I mean, we have a 99.9% chance of not making the playoffs. The only chance that we have is that the Saints absolutely crap the bed and lose the rest of their games, and we go undefeated. That is the only
Considering
chance.
the
That
fact
the
that you
Saints
guys just
don't
lost
win
to
another
the
game.
you guys just lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with two big touchdowns, one by Vita Vea, 375 pounds, maybe getting a little bit, you know,
He ran out. He ran a little like a flat route on us too.
um,
He didn't even take it straight up the middle. He just ran around us.
Vita Vea is getting dangerously thick, you know,
Yep,
and then
dangerously thick.
Ndamukong Suh scoops the ball up from Matt Ryan.
It's
And he just
ridiculous.
runs it in. Two big boys. It's always a
Yep,
great day when big boys score.
I guess so.
Anyway,
I just hope that we beat the Saints and we don't try the rest of the season. And that's in the podcast, everyone.
yep, that's gonna bring it to a close. I'm Louai. He's Tyler, and this has
And
been
this is TNL Sports.
TNL Sports.